everybody, welcome to Behind the Vanity. I'm Jessica. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you know when I post videos. So today's video is actually going to be a look using products that are in a current project pan that I'm doing. So basically I'm using 4 out of the 7 products in this one look that I'm trying to pan and use up. So I kind of have this ombre kind of smoky eye going on, and so if you want to see what products I use to create this look, especially which ones are in my project pan, keep watching. And first thing I'm going to do is my eyebrows, and since I already have a lot of videos where I do that, I'll link a video below to show you if you want to check out and see how I do that process specifically. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my eyebrows on. So the next product I'm going to use is actually one of my favorite products. It's the NYX Jumbo Eye Crayon or Eye Pencil. This one is in milk, so it's kind of a matte white. And so I like to use it sometimes in lieu of like a full coverage concealer. I like to use this sometimes, especially if I want like a really dramatic look for stage. But I like to use it to sometimes help kind of make my eyes really pop and kind of clean up my eyebrows. And that's all I'm really gonna do, just kind of under my brow bone up to my crease and then kind of in the inner corners. Okay, so next we're gonna get started on the eyeshadow. So you'll recognize this from my Project Pan videos, which again, like I said, I will link those below. In my Project Pan, I didn't know what this palette was called because I've had it for a while. I think it's the Sephora brand, like the Sephora line of cosmetics, and it's the makeup palette, the smoky version of it. And it comes in this kind of silvery case. In the top row, you can barely see the colors because I've really used them up quite a bit and have done a really good job. So I'm just gonna use this little brush. It's an Eco Tools brush that I've had for years. It's got a liner on one end and then just a nice little blending brush on the end, and go into the third one in right here. There's barely anything left in it. And what I've been doing is kind of using this kind of all the way up and into the crease, kind of all over the lid. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this brush, I think it's Firma 201, kind of again another blending brush, and I'm going to go into the next darkest color, the fourth one in. It's just slightly darker. It's kind of like a dark silver color, whereas that color I just used is like a silver. So I'm just going to go into that color there, and again it's kind of in the edges, so just kind of get some of that. I'm going to start in the middle of my eyelid and work outward. And I'm kind of trying to create a little bit of like an ombre effect on my eye with these different shades of silver and charcoal. And now time for the third color. So it's gonna be this it's kind of a charcoal color. And I'm just gonna take another Eco Tools brush. It's got kind of a blending brush on one side and then kind of a more compact brush, which we will use later for another color. That one still has quite a bit of product left in it. And I'm gonna go just right on the very edge with this. So it's kind of like there's 3 layers. It's light and then medium and then dark right on the edges, kind of like an ombre effect. Now I'm gonna take this is an e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush, and it is well loved and it is kind of a mess, but it is what I decided to use for this, doing this look the last couple weeks, and so I've just gone with it using what I had. And I'm gonna take a little bit of setting spray. Normally, you know, if you've watched my videos, I use a baby white to dampen the brush, but I wanted to kind of try the whole setting spray idea because I've seen a lot of people doing that, and it's cool. I'm enjoying it. So I just bought kind of this, it was kind of cheap, but it seems to do the job pretty good. It's this Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting spray, and I'm just gonna take this brush. It's kind of a little bit of a compact brush, and just spray it just a bit, because I want to get this color a little bit more vibrant. So on the bottom here, you can barely see it again. It's right here on the end at the bottom. It was a really sparkly black, being a little bit damp will help the color kind of go on a little bit more intense. And I'm just gonna go a little bit on the outer part of my eye here. Kind of in a line, almost like a little bit of a wing kind of effect. Now I'm gonna blend it, and I'm just gonna use one of the brushes I've already used. I think I'm gonna use the brush that I used for the middle color, like the second brush that I used, or you could use a clean brush for this. I'm just gonna kind of go and just blend the outer part of this, and then I'm gonna take the brush I used for the lightest color and kind of go over that, and just to kind of make sure it's pretty blended. So now, last step for the eyeshadow, actually no, second to last step for the eyeshadow, is I'm gonna take this, it's a Wet n Wild, I don't know if it's a concealer brush, because I have a concealer brush, but it's shaped like a concealer brush, but I'm gonna kind of use this to line under my eyes a little bit. I'm gonna use the setting spray again for this. My hands are a mess. This palette is a little bit messy, and my brushes are a little bit messy, and they've been rolling around in a bag, and so it's just messy. So this, I'm gonna do a little bit of an ombre effect. I'm gonna just use the same brush, but I'm gonna use these 3 colors that I used for the top part of my eye, and I'm gonna start with the dark and kind of go on the outside part of my eye and meet it to the end. Then I'm gonna go in that middle color there, and kind of go the third of, kind of the middle third of under my eye. Then last but not least, I'm gonna use that first kind of silver color, what's left of it, and kind of go towards the center of my eye, or towards the inner part. And there we go, we are done with that palette. I'm gonna take some of this LA Colors Shimmering Loose Eyeshadow. This is in the color Snow White, just $1 at the Dollar Tree. Just a really nice, if you want a little shimmery white, kind of a pigment, this is not a bad one to get. And I'm gonna take the end of that Eco Tools brush, it's kind of just a little compact brush, and again, use the setting spray. And I like to pour this out kind of into the cap, and so grab some of that pigment onto that brush, and I'm gonna highlight under my brow bone, and in the inner part of my eye, I'm gonna kind of drag it out, and I'm gonna kind of drag it a little bit on the inner part of my eye. This is a little bit of a dramatic look. I've been wearing it for stage, so you can kind of lighten it up. And of course you can create this look with any 3, or like if you have a little eyeshadow palette, like a 4 eyeshadow palette that has like white, silver, dark silver, and black, you could create a very similar look. So just anything that has like the whites to the blacks with the grays and the charcoals and that kind of a color palette, you could create this look. And then here's a trick that I kind of learned. Instead of rubbing with like a baby wipe, you can just take a baby wipe, and which I'm using a lot less of, by the way. I really am. I really, really, really am. And you'll see, you do have a baby wipe or something, just take I take my finger, put it in the baby wipe, and then take some micellar water. I just use Garnier, and just kind of put a little bit on there, and that'll really help where you don't have to tug so much into your eyes to get the makeup off after you've made a mess. See, it just really helps get that off. Much easier than if you just use the baby wipe. So I wish I discovered that a long time ago. So I'm gonna put my eyelashes on off camera. I'll be right back. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line my waterline real quick. Now it's time for foundation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use, this is almost gone. It's my True Match Lumi in the color W5, which is a sand beige. I always have to check because I've got a couple colors of these, just kind of depending on how tan I am at any given moment. Silicone makeup sponge. So now I'm gonna contour, and again, this is another product that is in my project pan, but it's just this little Beauty Benefits Hollywood Dollar Tree contour kit. So I'm gonna start with the dark contour right now, and I'm just gonna use, this is an e.l.f. angled brush. At some point here really soon, I am going to replace a lot of my brushes. I just have to wrap my mind around it first. Now for work, for the stage, I tend to go with a heavy contour, and I'm gonna try to go a little lighter. And this is very pigmented, so I'm gonna try hard to not overdo it. But I may overdo it. So I'm gonna set that to the side and wait a little bit to do the light contouring. I'm gonna do a couple extra steps first. So the next thing I'm gonna do is bronzer, and this is another product that is in my current project pan. And I am almost done with this as well. I knew this one wouldn't be hard, but I wanted to put it in my project pan. I guess you want some things that are harder and some things that are easier, so that, you know, you don't feel too bad about yourself that you haven't done certain things that you said you were gonna do. So yeah, so this is e.l.f. again, just from the Dollar Tree, $1. It's just the deep bronzer. And I like it because it's matte, it's very pigmented, so it's a little hard to use like in real life, but if you go to the light hand, it's really nice. And see, there's literally just, I don't know if you can see it or not, just some product around the edges. So I'm just taking this, this is an IT brush, it's the Velvet Luxe LBD Powder 307, and this is my bronzer, my favorite bronzer brush. I've got a couple that I use, but this is like my favorite. This is like my one really good brush that like I spent good money on. All the other ones I've either acquired in like a beauty subscription, and all my other ones are probably just pretty kind of cheaper, on the cheaper side. I tried to do a light hand on that, but I'm probably a little overly tan, but I don't know, whoever said that's a bad thing. So now I'm gonna put concealer on. It's the Revlon Photo Ready Concealer. This one is in the color light medium. These are just great concealers. I love them. They have all different colors. So I'm just gonna kind of go under my eyes in that V shape we've talked about before. And under my eyes, I'm gonna use this Wet n Wild concealer brush. Then I'm gonna move on to my silicone makeup sponge. So next, I'm going to put on a little bit of blush, and this is another item in my project pan. So this is my Smashbox mini box palette. So I'm just gonna add a little pop of this blush with one of my little cork brushes that I use a lot. And I'm just gonna add a little pop of color. So now I'm gonna bake my face, and I have some information. So my favorite banana powder, it's the Bella Pierre Banana Setting Powder in medium, and I ran out, and then I went ahead and bought this Joa brand at my CVS, and I didn't like it. And so I let it sit for the longest time, and I reordered this. This is my second one. And I was just like, you know, I gotta be able to find a way to use this. I was gonna get rid of it completely, but I decided to hang on to it. I think in my declutter video, or I think it was my products that disappointed me. I'll link it below. Anyway, I really didn't like it. Well, I decided to give it another chance, and now I'm not sure that I don't like it better than my Bella Pierre, but it's kind of a color issue. The Joa is a little bit lighter than my, I don't know if you can see this, but so I think since it has become winter and I'm not as tan, this is better, because when I put this under my eye, it looks a little really yellow to me, and not in a good way, not like in a good banana powder kind of a way. So I think I'm gonna save this for the summertime when I'm just a little bit more tan. And I have just fallen back in love with this. So, you know, sometimes you just never know, you know, just give something a second chance. So I'm gonna use my Joa setting powder today. And this is in banana. And so And I actually bought this yesterday. I have been using, if you've seen my face baking tutorial or my any of my get ready with me videos, when I bake my face, I usually use like a little cosmetic triangle. So I decided to treat myself yesterday. It's by Real Techniques, and it's the Miracle Powder Sponge. Smooth, seamless finish. It's for powder makeup. So I am excited. It's for setting, apply setting, bronzer, highlight, blush powders for a flawless finish. It's got the rounded side, it's got the pointy side, it's got the flat side. You can use it damp or dry. So I'm excited, especially designed for powder, so I'm excited to try this, and this will be my first time, so we'll see. Man, one thing I can tell you about it is it covers more area, so I don't have to work as hard to do it. So that is a big plus. Yeah, so far so good. I highly recommend this if you like baking your face. This is handy dandy. Every now and again, it just pays to not be cheap. I fight that constantly. While I let that sit, I'm gonna go ahead and do some light contouring like on my jawline. And so I'm just gonna take that light color and I'm just gonna take this is an Ipsy B36 tapered highlight brush, and this is kind of what I use I kind of use highlighter and light contour, like powder contour with this brush, I guess. So I'm gonna also take this Winky Lux Charm Holographic Highlighter, and it's just kind of a very light, and just put that on the same brush and just add a little bit of highlight on my jaw. And I'm gonna set that to the side. Now, we are all done with the contour. Now I'm gonna brush this off. So I'm just gonna take this little, really it's a little nothing brush. Eventually I will treat myself to some kind of a good brush for this purpose, but this is what I've been using, and so I wanted to do what was familiar for you all today, with the exception of the new face brush. You know, you don't want to add too much, new on someone, freaks them out, And now take a highlighter again, and I'm gonna add it up here by my temples, and a little bit right here. And the last thing is lips, and I think this lip look kind of goes really well with this kind of dramatic eye. It's gonna be kind of a neutral look, and I bought these. They were in the clearance section of Walgreens. They were $3.49 a piece, so I picked up two because I couldn't decide the color I wanted. And so it's the Bold Matte. It's the Milani Bold Matte lipstick, and I got color 10. I Am Confident. It's kind of a dark nude. And then I got the color 12. I Am Radiant. It's kind of a lighter nude. So I could not decide which nude I wanted, so I bought both. I'm gonna first line my lips with this Jordana Easy Liner retractable pencil for lips in Tawny. These are fabulous, I love them. My lips just a bit. This isn't really, I wish that I had a brown eye pencil handy. I have one in work and I did not bring it home. And then what I'm gonna do is kind of create an ombre look for the lips. So I'm gonna use the darker color, the I Am Confident color, and kind of go on the outside, kind of lining my lips. And then I'm gonna take the lighter color, I Am Radiant, and fill it in. I'm just gonna go over the whole lip. So there you go. I just created an eye makeup look and then some kind of blush and contour and bronzer, all courtesy of products that are in my Project Pan project. So, sometimes, and I've really fallen in love with this eye look, so sometimes you just never know what you have until you really start using it, and sometimes things work and sometimes they don't, and I've really enjoyed using this eye look for the last couple of weeks for the stage. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification. Check out my social media, that will all be linked below, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And I will also have all of those videos I mentioned throughout the video linked below so you can check them out. So thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye.